So I go to snatch it off the ground. I'm pissed. And to my surprise, when I go to lift it up, oh, it was 2006, maybe 2007, and I was taking a class called Exceptional People or something like that at the University of Florida. And it was a very interesting class. It taught me about how exactly a person who has sight impairments is able to get around. If you ever see someone, especially like no dog or nothing, they just got their stick, I found out a really cool thing that someone actually helps them to map out their life so that they can get where they need to go. And they use things like curbs and I don't know, maybe walls. Please, it's been many, many years since I took this class, but that's the kind of stuff that Exceptional People was all about. In that class, we had a project that we were allowed to do where we could pick anything we wanted to do that could either influence our community or give back, volunteer, learn, anything. We just had to do a paper on it. I think it was like our final paper. And so I decided there was something that I wanted to do. It was about like what would you call that? Like micro-philanthropy, it wasn't necessarily like mutual aid. I don't think. I just basically said, I'm going to put cash into my wallet and into my car. So I used to keep like some ones and fives in the visor. What's that called? The sunglass holder. Like I had a little thing in the console. And then I always made sure, because generally I didn't have cash at that point, but I always made sure to make sure I had a few dollars that were in my wallet at all times, just in case. Okay. So I had this extra money. And so my project was being intentional, walking around and being able to see someone who needed help. And in that moment, put something in their hand. No middleman required. The reason that I came up with this was because there was this guy. If you ever went to UF or lived in Gainesville, I would love to hear from you about this. Did you ever see a guy, black guy, dreads, chocolate skin, big, beautiful smile? He always wore, even in the summer in the swamp, full camo. And I'm talking like thick, like he walked kind of like, he was not that big of a guy, but his clothes were so thick and heavy. I think that only maybe a couple times in the summer did I see him take the jacket part off, but he would still have these huge pants on, okay? He would stand on the corner of, what is that, 13th? No, that'd be 34th, I think. He would stand on the corner of 34th and like 20th or anywhere between Archer coming out of Butler Plaza. He would just kind of walk around and he would always, as cars passed by, if I remember correctly, he would do this. This is a peace sign too. Okay, here. Okay. And I would always look for him and be like, hi. And he'd be like, hey, baby. He didn't say, hey, baby. He would just be excited though. He'd be, because it was like, we were friends now. And so one day I just decided like, I want to make sure I have some dollars for him if I see him again. So that was like the first time I ever said, let me give this man some change. Cause I just wanted him to go buy himself some cold water or something, man. Then I take this class and they have this project. And so the project was not about homeless people only. It was actually about being anywhere and just being able to just do this. And so the one thing I remember, I don't know why I remember it so clearly. I was at a Dollar Tree because I don't really think I've seen a Dollar Tree like this, but there was a Dollar Tree in Gainesville where they actually had right underneath the register, because they do this at like Walgreens and CVS, I think, underneath the register, they had candy. All right. And so there's a mom and a child. We've been in the store the whole time. The child is asking, Mom, can I have this? Mom, can I have this? My heart is already breaking because I've been there. No. And at Dollar Tree, still no. Mama's struggling. No. Baby, we do not have it. I look in this big grocery cart. She got food. So Mama is struggling. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dang, okay. I had just started my project, so I was really, really excited. I took $5 out and I just put it on top of a thing of candy because he asked, Mom, please, he's right behind me. And I just put it on top of it and I tapped it right after I had paid. And then I just walked out. And I remember this was like the first moment anything like this had ever happened to me. I walked out and I think he was like holding it and looking at it for a second because he was in shock. And right as I crossed the threshold of the door, Mom, he just was screaming, Mom, look, he was so happy. And I really hope that she wasn't telling him no because he can't have stuff. like, boy, you don't need all that sugar. I don't know why she was telling him no. So I didn't like tell them what to get. I didn't interfere. I didn't involve myself at all. I just said, and I walked out. And I remember feeling, I'm not going to front. I don't just give because it's the right thing. I give because it makes me feel amazing. And you know what? I don't think I've ever told anybody this story. Telling it doesn't make me feel good because I just feel like now all these questions come. Did it really happen? What was your motives? All that. I don't want to hear it. This is not the point of this. The point of this is that I want you to consider your ministry. your personal ministry. Okay. But anyways, that after that, I think that we're still talking about the project back when I was in college and was working multiple jobs. I did not have the money to do this. I don't know why I picked that. I always pick stuff that I probably shouldn't do. I have a problem with overgiving. So not surprised that that's the project I picked. But then I think I like gave the guy some cash, the peace sign guy. Every time I saw him, from that point forward, I always kept money because I always saw him. I don't know where I was coming from, but I consistently saw him at least once a week sitting in traffic for some reason, waiting to turn onto Archer. I don't remember why. That was the beginning of what became the homeless ministry I've been operating ever since. In college, it just kind of expanded a little bit more to, then I actually had like an official, I had an envelope full of cash. I was constantly refilling it. And the more money that I made, I would put tens in it. I'm the dummy that you guys are going to think this is so bad and so dumb. And it is really dumb. Please don't do this. But I would take some of my leftover money from my student loans even, and I would go do hauls and just buy. I know, please don't start with me. I don't regret it, but I do know that it was a bad idea because I'm paying interest on that now. Anyways, so it expanded even further when I actually started working and was making not great money, but again, you've probably noticed how I am. Then I would do bags. And this is really where it got super exciting for me because my love language is gifts. A student gave me this that I taught for 3 months, and I will probably never get rid of it. I'm for real. Like that's just almost all this stuff was gifts. This from a client. I'm just saying. I'm just like that, you guys. It doesn't have to be expensive, as you can see, because those two things are like, but it's just how I've been my whole life. Making bags was like really my love language, right? So I wrote this letter and I made copies of it. And basically the letter just says, hey, I know this isn't much in this bag, but I want you to know that I was thinking of you. I love you. And I wish and hope and pray that this is the beginning of more good things coming into your life in the future. If there's anything in this bag that you don't want, I always include an extra plastic bag, like from Dollar Tree or wherever I'm getting this stuff. I say there's a plastic bag inside this bag that you can put the stuff you don't want in, and you can give it to someone else so that you can kind of start this beautiful experience of being able to give as much as well as receive, something like that. Okay. I just started making these bags. I would buy the backpack, like drawstring backpack from Dollar Tree, or I would get later towards maybe 2015-ish. I was even getting those tote bags, like grocery bags. What are those called? The reusable grocery bags, you know what I'm talking about? And so I would put in, oh my goodness, just usually I think the core things I would do is deodorant, lip balm because of Florida. I would always get a pack of water. I would put cash. I can't remember what I would do, but those are like, I think a comb, just pretty much stuff that I think is kind of expensive to have to buy on your own. But if you get it, you can kind of slip it easy places. And then plus you have the bag. That was kind of the first expansion. And then I really went there and I started to do like huge hauls, and I would get these really, really big bags. Like the ones from TJ Maxx that are like, yeah, like that. And I would fill those up. I would get like shampoo, conditioner, body wash in one bottle kind of stuff, Sudoku and crosswords. And I always put a pen in the bag, napkins in the bag, cough drops, little stuff. I don't know. There's something about not being able to get stuff, even now in my life where I'm being extremely frugal because I'm good with my money. I don't have a lot, but I've always been very wise with it when it comes to when I have it, if that makes any sense. Like when I'm super, super poor, then I'm done with it. I'll just pay other people's bills and stuff because it's like, I'm screwed. You know, I know that's crazy. It's just, I don't understand myself. I would put all this little stuff in it. I will acknowledge that I learned then when I did like a $5,000 haul and I had all that kind of stuff in there that homeless people can't necessarily carry giant heavy bags full of stuff. Who would have thought? I was so excited in my giving that I kind of messed it up. And so I'm telling you that just to let you know, you decide to do bags and not just cash. Think about where you're at. The best way you can do this is if I woke up on the street tomorrow, what would I want to do? Oh, duh. Another thing that's in every bag is a toothbrush, toothpaste combo. That's a big one. After the bigger hauls, I also would do sometimes like sandwiches. Like I would make ham and cheese or turkey and cheese sandwich, and maybe sometimes put some other like peanuts and stuff like that, like a bottle of water and some cash. Yeah, I think that would be it for like a little food bag. And generally I would put that in like a clear bag from the grocery store, a produce bag. I want people to kind of be able to to see what they're taking. I've noticed that if you try to give someone a paper bag, they might think you're trying to give them old food. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you. The rudest, meanest people on the streets, older white women with mental health issues. I have had my worst experiences. And the weird part is, it's usually men that you find on the streets because they're more likely to have like shelters for women and stuff like that. But I don't know what it is, but I've just learned like that's not my ministry. My ministry is is men, I guess. Men and like young people who are on the street, like they are always very accepting. And I always say to them, like, if there's anything you don't want, you don't have to keep it. So yeah, there's all kinds of ways you can do this. You can give money, you can give food. Another thing you can do is if somebody's asking you for money or food, if you are like going inside of a place, you can ask to buy them stuff. And so sometimes I would see people, I did this a lot in Vegas. I would see somebody, I would pull over and I would ask them before I went somewhere. So if you're about to go eat somewhere and you see someone, pull over first and ask them, hey, I'm about to go over here. What do you want? And get them whatever they want, bro. And then you can just take it back to them and you know they'll be there to receive it. Sometimes the people who ask for money, if you tell them you'll get them something from inside the store, like a Dollar Tree or whatever, sometimes they're not there when you get back, but it also could be like because security chased them away. So just keep this kind of stuff in mind. I also, one time I worked in a nonprofit when I was trying to like get away from my music career and stuff. I ended up helping people who were getting jobs. Like that was my thing. I was under a grant. I noticed that a lot of my people who were underemployed, unemployed, or homeless, if they would get a job, they couldn't go to the job because they couldn't afford to have the clothing. Like if they weren't given a uniform. And so I would go to like Goodwill. I didn't go to Goodwill. I don't like Goodwill, but I would go to thrift stores and I would buy scrubs and things like that. Again, all of this stuff over all these years rarely would cost me more than like between $3 to maybe $25 or $30 per person. I don't know how many people I've helped. I have never counted. I could probably go back and I've taken pictures of the bags and stuff like that I would put in my trunk because I wouldn't just do one bag, obviously, you know. A really good way to do this is if you go to Dollar Tree, get the stuff that's in multi-packs. Oh, wipes. That's another good thing, like the multi-packs of wipes. There's all kinds of stuff that you can just throw into a bag and hand somebody. And here's the weirdest part about it. They don't always want everything in the bag, but if you present it to them as maybe you can barter for it, or maybe you can, you know, just give it away. I don't know. I feel like there's something that happens where they kind of light up like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And so I just want to tell you an interesting story. One time, this was probably 4 years, maybe 3 years after I started my homeless ministry. So I was still new to the game. I had made a bunch of bags and I had left from somewhere and got on the interstate and I saw this dude. This dude, I don't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. It almost looked like a yard sale or something, but not like he had all this stuff laid out on the ground and he was just staring at it. And I was like, what is happening? It was very, very organized. It didn't look like it had fallen out or something. And you could tell it was I don't know, I can't explain it. He was just kind of standing there on the corner looking at this stuff, but it was in an area that there wasn't a lot of people, like right off of a exit. And there just was never, it was like the whole plaza was basically shut down. It's in my neighborhood. So like, if you know anything about Sulphur Springs, remember the Kmart Plaza? Anyways, he's on the corner. I drive by and I have bags, but I don't know what this dude's deal is because he's like, I have no idea what's happening. He's just standing over his stuff. He's just looking at it. I go home or I go somewhere. I just remember that there was a second point and a third point where I saw this guy or I interacted on that corner. So the second time around on the corner, I said to myself, let me offer this dude one of these bags. Because when I got off the interstate, I could have very easily pulled into this plaza, hopped out and handed him a bag. But I think I was wary of him. He kind of looked like a wild man, kind of like the one Ron Swanson saw inside of the Whole Foods. Okay. But homeless version, you know, like fully, he was a little bit scary to me. And as much as I love my ministry, I'm not going to front. Like I have to keep myself safe. I have to kind of gauge and I have to judge in that way to make sure I'm okay. And so the first time I drove by him, I just told myself, he doesn't need another bag. Look at all the stuff on the ground. So the second time I see him, I make a U-turn and I go and I give him a bag because I feel bad. And I think I actually had given out a couple bags. See, I didn't make a U-turn. I went through the plaza. I was looking for homeless people. This is how I have to do the ministry. When I have the bags in the car, I have to go find them. And I think I had just moved back after college or something. And so I really didn't know where everybody was at. I was still learning the lay of the land. I went through this plaza because there's always a lot of homeless people in this area off Waters in Florida, if any of y'all ever know what that is. is. I am turning where he's at. And at this point, he has, I believe, no, he still has all his stuff on the ground. And he's still standing there and he looks stressed. And so I don't know what it was, but something in me said, girl, just give him a damn bag. Like, stop it. Just give him a bag. You keep seeing him, you keep thinking, but you don't know his situation. Just give him a bag. So I reach over and I give him this bag. It's a green bag. I'll never forget this. He won't show me his mouth. I can't explain it, but he's talking to me like this. He's like, oh my God, but his eyes are kind of wide and he's kind of like shaking. And I'm a little bit nervous, like, what's happening? But I realized it. He was shocked that I was giving him this bag. That's why his hand was over. He was legitimately like, oh my, that was a, oh my, you know what I'm saying, kind of moment. When I gave him the bag, I drove off and I went around looking for more people. And when I got back home and was heading home, I got off the interstate again. I was so pissed off. I was super pissed off because the bag was on the fucking ground. This dude was tripping when I gave him the bag. Like, he was so grateful. He was like, you don't understand. Like, he kept saying, you don't understand. I don't understand. He kept saying that. You don't understand. I don't understand. You don't understand. It was like I have to explain what I've speculated about this man ever since. I think that he was giving up on life. I can't explain it any other way. I've been there most of my life. I know that feeling. I cannot explain it, but I think I may have interrupted someone's I'm over it kind of moment. Across the street, there is a tall tower, the Sulphur Springs Water Tower. I think he laid all his stuff out so that the people would come take it. I know this might sound crazy, okay? But when I pulled up to go pick that bag up, none of that was in my head. I was pissed. I was like, see, why'd you give this man this bag? And here's the thing. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money when I'm doing this stuff. I still don't have a lot of money, but now I don't think the way that I did then. I was hurt because it's like, bro, why'd you take it? You could have just said no. Plenty of people have been like, no, I'm good. And that's fine. Why'd you take it? So I go to snatch it off the ground. I'm pissed. And to my surprise, when I go to lift it up, oh, it's almost empty. Now, if you remember the beginning of this video, I shared that I put a letter inside. What I didn't tell you is that, because I hate when people get offended by it, but I also put a call to salvation in it. Forgive me if you're offended. I'm trying not to get myself emotional because this story always fucks me up. When I went to pick up the bag and it was super light because it was basically empty, I realized something. This dude had a giant, the bag on a hiking bag that was like this much taller than him. Okay. Cause I could see, I don't remember how I knew that he had this big bag. Maybe I saw him. I think the first time I saw him, he had the bag on. And then afterwards, everything was there. He was on that corner for hours. Okay. Well, he was there so long that some of the people from the neighborhood knew. So when I snatched that bag up, guess what I hear? Hey, that's that man's bag. You better put that down. That's not your bag. You need to give it back. And I turn and this is sister coming up to me and I'm like, sis, hold up, sis. Hold up, sis. She got somebody with her. I said, I gave him this bag. I opened the bag and the only things left are a comb because he had dreadlocks and a beard that cannot be combed. A couple other things, but to my surprise, my note was not in that bag. I'm so sorry. He took the note, guys. I knew then, this is my job. This is my job. And in that moment, I then had I literally think I had 2 bags left and I gave them the bags. So that was actually perfect. But he listened and it made me realize that they read my note. Here's the thing, I'll admit, sometimes, let's say it's hot, I give somebody a bag of food and water. I always try to give them their privacy afterwards. I don't look at them. I don't record. I don't do stuff like that. But I check my rear view real good. And to watch someone rip open, not just but rip open, eat the sandwich that I made them breaks me every time. To see someone tear the bottle of water, they cannot get it off fast enough to drink it and chug it, breaks me every time. I will burst into tears, try not to crash my car driving and stuff. I've seen people when I'm walking around a park or something, because there was even points where I had someone in my life that would do the bag. I would make the bags and then I would drive, and then being a man, they would get out and go walk around a heavily populated park and give the bags out. So I would be sitting there and they don't know who I am and they're all kind of waiting for him to come around. So I'm getting to watch the people that are opening my bags and they're reading my letter. One time, See, this is the crazy part. One time there was a lady, I don't think she could read or she did not have her glasses. I cannot remember why, but it was like the person I had that was giving the bags away was like going around, and he had already given a bag to someone like right here, and my window was cracked so I could hear them. And she said, "Oh, a letter." She said, "Please, here, read it, read it, read it to me." And he read it and she started crying, and it was like it was like I convince myself sometimes that what I do does not matter and that I'm just doing it for myself and that it's just like no big deal, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And sometimes when I'm like having to like make the copies of the letter and go and like, because I have to cut them. I put two on one page so I didn't waste paper. So I have to kind of cut them down, and then I like fold them, and I put everything in the bag just so when I put the letter at the very top, so it's like the first thing that comes out. And I always kind of feel stupid when I put the letters in. Like sometimes my ADHD will kick in and I don't want to go get a letter. Like I don't want to go find them. Like, where did I put them? So I'll just make the bags. Like, they don't read the letter anyways. And so to have someone read it and she's listening and she's holding her heart and she's doing all this different stuff, and like they don't know I'm there. They're not even facing me, you guys. Like I don't think it was just for show. Like I don't think she even knew I was in the car because I always had dark tints and stuff like that. So to like drop somebody off, pull up to where he's just been, park, because it's probably the easiest way for him to get back to me, and them not even know. It just, I don't know, guys. It just breaks my heart that like we don't understand the impact that we could make. So I wanted to share my story of how I've been running my homeless ministry for the past almost 20 years as an individual. I don't tithe. I don't go to a church right now, but even when I do go to churches, I give what I feel like giving, but my tithing minimum comes from my ministry. When I say that, I mean that at least 10% of my income has always gone towards my homeless ministry. And when the pandemic started, I admit that, especially now I don't have a car or anything like that, that I now have shifted it to gig workers and making sure, because I get everything delivered to my house. So people love taking my orders. But yeah, I just want you to think about the ways that you can make a difference. I will never forget being in my uncle's old car when I was a little kid. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure my dad had made me think that homeless people were bad and you never give them any money because they're just going to go waste it on something bad. And so I turned to my dad's brother when he gave this homeless person, I'm pretty sure, a $20 bill at the same corner. I'm just realizing it was at the same corner, because to get to that same corner, you could actually drive behind the Kmart and then you could go across the street to get to the exit. I guess it wasn't the same corner. It was like the corner behind the plaza versus the corner to turn into the plaza. The story I just told you and the story about my uncle happened in the same spot, but like 20 years before that. My uncle turned to me and he said something about, the Bible says that if they go out and they get something to drink, like it's all right. They might be having a tough day. And it was like, and ever since then, it just changed the way that I see everybody. And so I really want to encourage you. More and more people nowadays are unhoused, or I don't like that term, by the way. I think somebody made it like I think a comedian talked about it, how like, you don't want to call them homeless. You call them unhoused because it feels better. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. Does anybody remember who that was? Because I really want to find that clip again and share it. If you are ever interested in giving back to your community, I highly suggest that even if you don't do it forever, start here. Start with a giving ministry. Start with going through your pantry, or going to Dollar Tree and just making one bag even. Get a pack of envelopes from Dollar Tree. They have like 40 that are like this big in a pack. Put a few dollars in and then just go and keep it. Whatever you need to do, start with a homeless ministry. I think the beauty of it is that you'll realize what you do and don't like about it. For me, it's perfect. It fits my love language. It fits my budget. It fits my sporadic nature. But also when I'm able to just do like, I'm gonna go spend $500 at Dollar Tree. Sometimes I'll even order cases from them and just pick up boxes of like whatever they have, put together a huge haul, and then go to areas like downtown Tampa is a great place. I don't know much about other places, but I know downtown Tampa, there's some streets and stuff leading up to it where there's like Salvation Armies. Go find Salvation Armies. That's a very good place where a lot of people will generally be. Homeless shelters, there might be a lot of people outside. Food kitchens, like there's all kinds of places where you'll see different things. Being able to then go out and just pass. is amazing to me, right? So I know that this works for me. You may realize that you don't want to give money, but you want to give time. There's 168 hours in a week. So if you give 17 hours per week to volunteering or to pouring into someone, that could be how you tithe your resources. I just want you to really think about how you can be more of a giver, because I truly believe that there's something that it can do for us and all this, but I also believe that those who give will receive. I don't do it to receive. I can't prove that that's true because I don't really receive. But I believe that what I do receive is the joy that I get. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I also believe that those of us who open ourselves up to be more giving, I think it shows, and people are more willing to like love back on us. And so I think more of us need to do things like that. So I just wanted to share kind of my experience with my personal ministry to help you say, I wonder what I could do. Start with the homeless ministry. If you know that you don't like it, get really intentional. What don't you like about it? And then realize like, oh, maybe that means I need to go and do like volunteering. Maybe it means I need to go do something like that fits more of my specialization in my career. Like whatever it is, I want you to really get intentional about having your own ministry, something that, again, you can call your own, that no one can stop you. There's no limitations, and something that will make you feel good when you're having a rough time. That's another main reason why I've always been able to do this. If I'm doing a big haul, I might have probably been going through something and just need that feeling inside of me. So I hope this helps whoever was curious, and I hope that you'll share with me what ministry you have. If there's things that you already do, my question to you is it consistent? Has this inspired you at all to make it more consistent? And if you do have something that you've been doing for a little while or a long while, I think that sharing it could give other people some inspiration for their own thing. So I would love to hear from you. If you want more stuff like this, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I put out videos every Wednesday, maybe other days of the week as well. This is my vlog, and I share all kinds of weird and random things, and they might not always be interesting to you, but I'm thinking at least 50% of it will be, okay? So please do stick around. Thank you for being here, and sorry for crying on the internet.